The battlefield was quiet now, the remains of Dominion war machines smoldering in the distance. The Resistance fighters worked tirelessly, salvaging parts and repairing their defenses. The Phantom's power had turned the tide of battle, but the cost was evident. Inside the command tent, Markov, Reyna, Kael, and Dr. Trent convened for a debrief. The room was tense as they reviewed the data from the recent battle. Dr. Trent pointed to the holographic map. The Dominion's forces have retreated for now, but their movements suggest they're regrouping near the Pacific Rim. We've bought ourselves time, but not much. Kael, standing with his arms crossed, interjected. They'll be back sooner than you think. This was a temporary win. The Dominion never retreats without a larger plan in motion. Reyna raised an eyebrow. And how would you know that? Kael's silver eyes met hers, unwavering. Because I used to be the one making those plans. Markov leaned forward. Then tell us, what's their next moves? Kael hesitated for a moment before answering. They'll exploit your weakness. And right now, your biggest weakness is trust. Kael's words echoed in Markov's mind as the Resistance base settled into an uneasy calm. Patrols were doubled, and security protocols were reinforced, but something felt off. Late that night, Reyna walked the perimeter, her instincts telling her something was wrong. The jungle was eerily silent, the usual sounds of nocturnal life absent. Suddenly, she spotted movement in the shadows. Raising her weapon, she called out, "Identify yourself." A figure stepped into the dim light, their face obscured by a hood. "Easy there, soldier," the voice said calmly. "I'm here to talk." Reyna didn't lower her weapon. "Talk fast, or I'll shoot faster." The figure removed their hood, revealing an older man with sharp features and a cybernetic eye. "Name's Orion. Let's just say I have information you're going to want to hear." Reyna frowned but didn't lower her guard. "Start talking." Orion smirked. "There's a traitor in your ranks, and they're working with the Dominion." The next morning, Orion was brought before the Resistance leaders. Kael studied him carefully, his expression unreadable. Markov crossed his arms. "You've got 2 minutes to convince us you're not lying." Orion leaned back, his cybernetic eye glowing faintly. "The Dominion doesn't lose battles like the one you just won. Someone fed them bad intel, someone on the inside. And now, they're feeding you just enough hope to keep you complacent." Reyna glanced at Kael. "Do you know him?" Kael's voice was cold. "I know of him. Orion was a mercenary who worked for the Dominion until they decided he was expendable." Orion chuckled. "And here I thought I left a good impression." Markov slammed a hand on the table. "Enough games. If you've got proof, let's see it." Orion reached into his coat, slowly pulling out a data chip. "This contains intercepted Dominion communications. They mention a shadow operative embedded in your command structure. I don't know who it is, but they're sabotaging you from the inside." The room fell silent as the weight of Orion's words sank in. The Phantom analyzed the data chip, its voice calm but urgent. "The information is credible. There is evidence of Dominion interference in your recent communications. Someone has been altering your tactical plans." Dr. Trent frowned. "But who?" "We've vetted everyone in this base." Kael spoke up, his tone grim. "The Dominion's operatives are trained to blend in perfectly. It could be anyone, even someone you trust completely." Markov's frustration boiled over. "So what do we do?" "Start accusing each other until the base tears itself apart." The Phantom's light pulsed softly. "Trust must be earned through action, not words. I suggest a test. Create a false plan to draw out the traitor. See who takes the bait." Reyna nodded. "It's risky, but it might be our only option." Under the guise of a routine briefing, Markov outlined a new mission, a strike on a supposed Dominion outpost in the Arctic. The details were deliberately fabricated, designed to lure the traitor into revealing themselves. As the team prepared for the mission, tensions ran high. Every glance, every conversation was scrutinized for signs of betrayal. Kael observed the team closely, his alien intuition picking up on subtle cues. The traitor will make a move soon. They won't risk letting this mission go forward. Late that night, the Phantom intercepted a transmission leaving the base, a coded message detailing the false mission plan. Markov's voice was icy as he spoke into the comms. Trace it. Find out who sent it. The trace led to a secluded part of the base, where a shadowy figure worked furiously at a terminal. Reyna and Kael burst into the room, weapons drawn. The figure turned, revealing Dr. Trent. Her expression was a mix of defiance and regret. Markov stepped forward, disbelief written on his face. Trent, why? Trent's voice was steady. Because humanity has already lost. The Dominion is the future. I try to save you all from pointless resistance, but you wouldn't listen. Kael's tone was cold. And how many lives did you trade for your survival? Trent glared at him. More than you can count, alien. Reyna restrained Trent as the Phantom spoke. The transmission has been neutralized, but the damage she has done cannot be undone. You must decide her fate. Markov's face was hard as stone. Take her to the holding cells. We'll deal with her later. As Trent was led away, Kael turned to Markov. This is only the beginning. The Dominion will try again. And next time, the betrayal might not be so easy to catch.